7 when the second bomb exploded on Bridge Street. Tim was standing next to the bin which contained the bomb and took the full blast. Jonathan was hit by shrapnel on the other side of the street.
Ordinary boy from an ordinary family in an ordinary town, where along with Jonathan Ball he suffered an extraordinary and terrible fate. If my son becomes a symbol for peace and gives everyone a new sense of hope after so much tragedy, then that will be Tim's unique achievement.
Good evening, everybody, and you're more than welcome to the Tim Baring Donovan Ball Foundation.
I've had countless interviews today where that's been a stock question, on the assumption that I found it difficult to ask Martin to give the lecture. The truth is I didn't find it difficult to ask him to give the lecture for a couple of simple reasons. One, we just concluded an interview in a very cordial situation in his office when I was interviewing him as part of a BBC panorama, not a panorama programme, I apologise, a BBC documentary programme. Secondly, I was acutely aware of the fact that we hadn't got a speaker for this year's Peace Lecture. And thirdly, and this sounds terrible, but thirdly, Martin was sitting opposite me, and it occurred to me, given it was the 20th anniversary of the Warrington bombing, that who else could possibly be a more appropriate speaker than Martin, given the position he now occupies in the government of Northern Ireland.
I had no second thoughts whatsoever. In fact, I was hoping that I could have been here earlier this year for the 20th anniversary on the time around the date. But it wasn't possible. Peter Robinson and I had other duties and responsibilities. And it was only whenever Colin came to Stormont Castle to interview me for the radio documentary that he was conducting that I was asked the question, would I come? And immediately said yes. And I said that because I am a huge admirer of the work that Colin and Wendy have done here in Warrington. I was here as Minister of Education in 2001, and it was very warmly received by the local elected representatives, the Mayor, and the people of Warrington. And I thought it was very appropriate to come back to make my own particular contribution to the Warrington Peace Lecture. So I'm very honoured to have been asked and delighted to be here.
Mr. McGuinness, which is when you reflect back on your life and in your quieter moments, do you ever feel regret or guilt over belonging to such a violent organisation as the Provisional IRA?
Well, I feel a lot of regret about the fact that there was a conflict, a violent conflict that lasted for almost 30 years and in which many people lost their lives, including many of my friends. In terms of my involvement in the IRA, I'm not a hypocrite. The conditions that existed in my city saw people being beaten off the streets, civil rights marches, saw the Battle of the Bauxite and the people rising up en masse against the forces of the state, saw the British Army come into our city, effectively taking the side of the unions who were discriminating against us. And at that time there was no IRA in my city, and innocent civilians were being shot dead, specifically by the Royal Anglian Regiment, Seamus Cusack, Desmond Beatty, within 2 days. And like many other young people, I joined the IRA, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say now that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm consumed with guilt about that, and it was a wrong thing to do. At that time, I was 21 years of age. These were the circumstances that were facing us on our streets, and we decided to fight back. I know that maybe majority of people in this room won't agree with what I've done, but that's the life I led. Those were the circumstances, and you have to be there. You have to be there to understand what it was like.